Okay, I just want to show you what's growing down here. I gave an update yesterday on my deck, and then there was not much growing on. But right here is just my containers that I'm taking in and out of my garage until I can permanently move them upstairs on my deck. Some of these I can go ahead and do that. I know I can do the Greek oregano right there. And some of the thyme I should be able to move. Most everything else I'm going to keep protected just to be on the safe side. Right over there is a purple coneflower. I can probably move that one up. That's Echinacea. So all of these, the pomegranate, of course, will have to stay in the garage, and these sad looking peppers, but I'm going to hang on to them, see if anything happens with those. The aloe vera loved the garage, and it does not like it now that I've put it outside. I can see that some of the tips are kind of turning beige a little bit. It did this a couple of years ago. I mean, last year too, when I moved it out on my deck, it just turned brown and slimy. It did not like the outdoors. And it just has done beautifully in that garage. It's so weird. Okay, so over here I'll show you my seedlings really quick. Again, I'm leaving all of these out. And ideally, I would like to go ahead and move these into my garage, into my garden. The problem I'm having is, and I'll show you when I get down there, is there's a rabbit in my garden. And I figured out that it is a rabbit, and he is eating everything. So if I move these down here, all the work I put into growing all these little seedlings, they will be gobbled up and munched down into nothing. So I am going to try to get rid of that rabbit before I move these down here, which means that a lot of these, the growth is going to become stunted. So when I do plant my seedlings, I try to time it so that it can be moved into my garden and continue growing without a hesitation. So I don't want to stop it from growing, because once I move it in my garden, it will take off. It loves it. But if I have to leave them in these pots for any length of time, it just doesn't. It does not do well at all. So the idea and the way I try to plant seedlings is I time it to where I can put them right into my garden. So there's some Chinese cabbage. I have a lot of Pac-Man broccoli, my kale over there, and then the calendula is just loving the cool temps. It always does really nice when it's in the cooler weather. I'll show you what else is over here. I've got my Boston pickling cucumbers. They've all sprouted. We had a really warm weekend, so when that soil got to a certain temperature, I forgot what temperature it is that makes cucumbers sprout, but it obviously hit that temperature, and up they came. And there's a actual chart in the back of your square foot gardening book that tells you which vegetables sprout at what temperature. That's what you need to look at, is your temperature germination. They don't need light unless you're using the light to warm up the soil. What you need is a warm soil, and once it hits a certain temperature, your seeds are going to sprout. So look that up if you're interested in your square foot gardening book. Okay, over here I have some parsley. The parsley is doing very nice. I just need to move it out too. It will take off as soon as it gets in some compost-rich soil. Sunset hyssop is looking pretty good, and more hyssop. This is a slow bolt cilantro, and I seeded about, probably 30 of those, and I had one germinate. So hopefully it will be a good one, because I'd love to grow slow bolt cilantro and have that reseed in my garden. Right now I have some cilantro that's reseeding. That's it bolts pretty fast. It's pretty in the garden when it flowers and everything, but I'd like to use some cilantro. It seems like it sprouts and then all of a sudden there are flowers on it. So, and I do save the seed for coriander. I crush it for cooking. So it's not all lost that the cilantro goes to seed so fast, because I do save that. But I'd like to have some fresh leaves for cooking as well. And then the Swiss chard. I only planted one of those, but it's looking pretty good here. More calendula. And let's see what's over here. I'll show you something fun. It's this right here. This is, I bought this at the nursery. Bronze fennel. It has completely turned bronze. I did not expect that, because it had a little bit of bronze tips and then it was bright green. And I guess the cooler temperature has just turned it totally bronze. Now, I read about this. Sometimes I do that. I go to the nursery, I'll say, oh, that's interesting, and I'll pick it up, and then I go home, and then I learn about it. Sometimes I learn it's not something I should be growing, but usually nurseries do their research because they don't want to sell something that's not going to, sell or grow in a given area. So the buyers know, have a good idea what to sell in an area. Not all the time, but most of the time. So anyway, this is bronze fennel, and it's not supposed to bulb, is what I read. It's not a bulbing fennel. I'm growing some because I would like to use the bulb. I like to use it with fish, so there's some fennel over there that I'm growing. Okay, and then my son's plants. They are summer heat-loving plants, and so it's going to be a while before they get out. I may have to go ahead and move them into some bigger pots, especially this nasturtium. You see it's showing some signs of not liking the cooler temperatures, and it's busting out of that little pot. It needs a bigger pot. This right here is I think this is going to be the purple tomatillo or the bumblebee. This is one I think that I forgot. I think I messed up my markings on those, and I couldn't figure out whether it was the purple tomatillo or the bumblebee cherry tomato. I've not ever grown a purple tomatillo. Maybe the leaves don't resemble that at all. We'll see how that works out. And then some amaranth, which is looking pretty good here. So, okay, let's head down to the garden, and I'll show you what we've got down here. It is a beautiful morning, so nice. There's a gentle breeze blowing. It's a little chilly. It's about 40 degrees, but the birds are singing, and so I've got my coffee sitting right over there. And after I walk through here and share my garden with you guys, I'm going to sit down and have a cup of coffee. Wish you were here to have a cup of coffee with me. Okay, so here are my beds. I have covered up all 3 of my beds here, and if you are interested in doing something like this, these are just PVC pipes that I have stuck in the corners here, and I put a zip tie on the top, and it's just kind of something temporary, hopefully until we can catch the rabbit, which you see here. It's a trap with no rabbit. I used this last fall to catch a possum, and it worked great. We only had it out 2 nights before he climbed in there and we had him. But this rabbit is not too interested in those carrots there. At any rate, if you're interested in doing something like this, I'll include a link to where I put these in last fall, and you can see how to do that. And then I just took bird netting and I wrapped it around instead of the frost cloth or the plastic. And so I just clipped them on there like that. So I'll include a link if you're interested in that. And so you see I've moved some of my plants in here. I've moved quite a bit of kale. And let's see, I moved some of my broccoli. And you can see how much bigger this is. I moved these in here, let's see, 6 days ago. And that's what I mean. Once I need to move them out and get them in here, because then they take off when I do that. And then there's some of my cabbage. This is a transplant I picked up at the nursery. So that's one Pac-Man that mine has almost caught up with it, you see. Okay, so sugar snap peas are up over here. I've been waiting on those to come up. It's been a while on those. Let's see what else I can show you. Valerian looks beautiful. That's a medicinal herb. I think I pointed that out before. Strawberries, hyssop, and parsley. And then weeds. I've got to get down here and weed these beds. I have yet to do that. I've kind of taken care of the beds that are over here. I weeded those pretty good, but over here I plan to put my summer vegetables like my tomatoes and cucumbers and that kind of thing. So I have not gotten around to pulling the weeds out of here yet. Shallots are looking lovely, really pretty here. These are just some yellow shallots that I picked up at Lowe's. I call them yellow because they didn't specify what kind. I'm very picky about what kind of things I grow, so typically I won't plant something that doesn't have a name on it, but in this instance I did. And here we go, some more sugar snap peas over here that are up. And the rabbits love the sugar snap pea shoot vines, so I have some more over there. They have not eaten those yet because there's other things they prefer over those, like purple cabbage, as you see right there. I planted some more before I figured out it was absolutely a rabbit. I saw the paw prints in my bed, you know, the back paw print of a rabbit. You could tell he was sitting down because it was a long print left there, so that's how I figured out it was a rabbit. Okay, before I walk down here anymore, I'll just show you this bed real quick. Hopefully will not make you dizzy. And these are the couple of garlic I have decided to keep in here, just a few of them. Because the other ones, like I said before, rotted away. They were in my beds, and then I had some that were in the ground that did not rot. They're doing wonderfully in the ground, but in the beds, not so good. I have some red Holland shallot that's coming up over there. And then some more Chinese cabbage you see here. This was, I think I bought 1 4-pack of Chinese cabbage. That's what you see right there. Those are some of the Chinese cabbage that I purchased as a transplant. And then this one here is one that I'm growing from seed. And it's much bigger than the ones that I have in my pots upstairs, okay? I won't say that again. I know you guys got the picture on that, but it's so important to go ahead and get them moved out when they are ready, when the temperatures are ready. You know, all these things here are cool season crops that the frost will not kill. A light frost won't kill them. So that's why they're out here, of course. I know here we have sugar snap peas. These are the ones that I planted. I planted these in February. You can see there's only about 4 inches of soil there, how much it's settled around those. This is an 8-inch piece of wood. So it might be 5 inches of soil there. It looks like it's about 3 inches. And then underneath that's all soil. So that's probably only 5 inches of soil. And then we have green onion. Those are germinated over there, so that's great. I love green onion. I know it's such a simple thing, and we can buy it at the store and everything, but I'm telling you, there's no better flavor than a very young picked green onion. Okay, and then we have some more Chinese cabbage. This is a little bit of a different variety. This is the Napa Cabbage over here, and this is more grows leafy. Okay, rat's tail is doing really good. Looks like my cover is coming off a little bit here. I need to secure it back down there so the rabbit doesn't get in there. Okay, and these are all my greens. I'm about to pick some spinach. It's looking really nice. These were transplants. I'll go ahead and tell y'all that because I feel like if you're growing things from seed, it makes a huge difference when I show you something that's over here that I bought as a transplant. Because it's a lot of difference if you're working growing stuff from seed. And I grow a lot of stuff from seed. I grow very little from transplants that I pick up at the store. But I do buy them to kind of get a head start. So my mustard greens and then spinach. And over there it's a beautiful little purple pak choi. Really pretty. I can't wait to use that. I'm growing a lot of purple things this year. A purple kohlrabi. Hopefully, yeah, I know I can't really focus in because of the netting. My camera wants to focus in on the netting and not the plants. Sorry guys. But anyway, so I'm going to pick some lettuce right there. And some spinach. I'm going to make a little salad here in a minute. And then, of course, the cabbage, which has been getting munched on by the rabbit. I guess he liked this area last night. I probably put out 2 or 3 little traps for him or something. I don't know. I also have some carrots which have germinated right over here, the carnival blend. So I'll need to get in here and get those thinned. It's such a pain to thin carrots, but you really will get a nice harvest if you just take the extra time to go in there and thin out your carrot seedlings. And these are radishes here. First time I've grown radishes. So one of the things I love about gardening is when things reseed themselves. I always think that's just great. So I will show you here. If you're new to gardening, you probably won't know to do this at first, but it'll come in time. You will know that when you go down to weed your garden, you'll recognize what's not a weed. For instance, this is cilantro, which has reseeded itself. And so there's 2 of those. There's another one right there. So I know that when I come over here to pull that weed out, to leave that one, because that's going to grow into a beautiful cilantro plant. And the ones that reseed themselves always do so much better, I think, than things that you transplant into the garden. Okay, so all these are more red onions here. And then these are yellow moon shallots. Okay, right there, the yellow moon shallots. This is Purple Majesty potatoes. I've not grown potatoes over here before. I grew them in a bag last year and they did fine. It was just, I forgot what kind it was. It's some kind of red potato. So this year I'm going to do a purple potato in my actual garden bed. Alright, so there's that. And they're starting to come up. Thyme is just really doing nice over here. Try to plant corn over here this year. So I'll just leave this for corn. And then I already have some existing perennial herbs, such as Greek oregano. That's what I have in my container garden also. I divided that right there, and I put some in my container. And then I have these wonderful garlic chives. And these are flat, and they're not real round. They have a really nice flavor, and if you blanch them, you can use them for tying things up that you're cooking and that kind of thing. So those are nice. And they are all over this little area right here. My husband, funny story, he cuts the grass, so you see there's grass right here. He oftentimes goes ahead and mows those down for me. Oh my goodness, I probably need to put a little border right here. Okay, so there we have it. And I know a lot of you are getting antsy, wanting to get out there and get in your yards. And I know how you feel because I see people do the same thing. You know, some people live in different climates, and it's fun to watch them and see what they grow. So, I used to live in Florida, and people would always leave comments that they want to get out there and get in it too. And then I moved here, so now I know what they're talking about because I see people that live in Florida and California, but we all have different climates. I remember in Florida, I couldn't grow anything in the summer. It was just so hot. Peppers would grow, but tomatoes would slow down in June. So that's one thing I think is great about the internet is we can kind of see what everybody else is growing when we can't grow something. All right, thanks so much for watching. Y'all have a wonderful day.